Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, September 2nd. A cloudy, damp morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Looks like the next couple of days will be quite unsettled around here with the chance of showers and thunderstorms. Some of the storms could actually be strong to severe from later today through tomorrow night. Then a stronger cold front sweeps on through the region by early Friday, and that paves the way for a nice stretch of weather for the Great Lakes, the Northeast U.S., for the Mid-Atlantic region, really from Friday into the early part of next week. Later next week, a very chilly air mass for this time of the year pushes into the central states, but it looks like it will kind of grind to a halt out there, and that will promote a strong southerly flow of air along the eastern seaboard, and we could get quite a bit warmer during the first part into the middle part of next week in the eastern U.S. We do have some tropical activity to talk about, so we'll start off the video discussion with a talk about the tropical situation. Let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures. We haven't looked at this in quite a while, and first of all, blue here represents below normal sea surface temperatures, and here we have a pretty strong, pretty noticeable La Nina in the Pacific Ocean region. This is the west coast of South America here. This is the equator right in this region right here. So we have a large area of below normal sea surface temperatures. And this is doing a couple of things. This was one of the key factors in our tropical outlook months ago that predicted above normal activity in the Atlantic Ocean. And that is indeed, of course, taken place so far. We have had many more storms than normal at this stage of the tropical season, and there are a few waves to talk about now. We'll get into that in a moment here, but this is also contributing to below normal activity in the Pacific Ocean just by virtue of the fact that there is some cooler than normal conditions across the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. Out in the Pacific itself, below normal in terms of the ACE index. We've talked about the accumulated cyclone energy, which is kind of takes into account the combination of the strength of the storm and the longevity of the storm. And both the Northeast Pacific and the Northwest Pacific are running at below normal levels in terms of overall tropical activity. In the case of the Northwest Pacific to the west of the date line, far below normal. Whereas in the Atlantic, above normal ACE index right now, and just look at the number of storms far above normal. Notice also a little bit of cooler than normal here in the Gulf of Mexico that popped up after the Hurricane Laura moved across the Gulf of Mexico into Louisiana, and Marco too, which was a relatively weak system, but the combination of the two caused some upwelling in the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some colder water from underneath up to the surface, and at least for a temporary time period here, maybe several days, it'll remain cooler than normal in the Gulf of Mexico. But again, the big item here is the strong La Nina. When there's a strong La Nina out in the Pacific Ocean, that tends to result in lower than normal wind shear in the tropical Atlantic, and hence a more active tropical season in the Atlantic, but it's also contributing to a below normal tropical activity in the Pacific Ocean. Well, what do we have out there now in the Atlantic Basin? There's actually 4 different systems here on the map right now. This is the official positioning by the National Hurricane Center. However, the front 2 systems have no chance to impact the U.S., and they're both tropical storms right now. So we actually have seen these 2 more nearby systems, Nana, tropical storm, and Omar, tropical storm. So we have a couple more named systems so far, but neither one of these will have an impact on the U.S., and as this one will continue to move out into the open waters of the cooler Atlantic out here, so that won't last much longer. And this one will go into Mexico, first Belize, and then right across Mexico, and pretty much dissipate in this region right here over the next few days. Now there's a couple other waves here, and this is the one that's a little bit more concerning, and the reason is the upper air pattern in the northeastern states will undergo a change over the next several days that I think will allow for a higher chance for a system to impact the southeastern coastline of the U.S., and so we'll have to monitor this system over the next several days. Well, let's talk about that change I'm expecting over the northeast U.S., southeastern part of Canada that could open the door for a tropical hit along the east coast, especially from the Carolinas down to the southern part of Florida in several days as we approach, go through the first couple of weeks of September. First of all, we're starting off today. What we're looking at are the 500 millibar height anomalies averaged over a 5-day period from last night's ensemble run of the GFS at 0Z. Below normal heights across southern Canada as we begin the period. This is the current 5-day period. Notice a little bit of ridging down over the southeast U.S., but watch the pattern change over the next 1 to 2 weeks or so. Here we go. Now we're looking at days 2 to 6, 3 to 7, 4 to 8, 5 to 9, 6 to 10. Notice that ridging that is currently located over the southeast U.S. by the time we get into the September 7th to September 12th time period, it starts to shift to the southeastern part of Canada. And we talked about this last week as well, that high pressure ridging this time of the year over New England or over the southeastern part of Canada tends to open the door for a tropical system to cut underneath it from the east to the west. Especially vulnerable is the southeastern part of the nation. Let's go out a little bit farther in time and look at this. By the time we get to days 10 to 14, now we're talking about almost the middle part of September, the 11th to the 16th, strong high pressure ridging over the northeast U.S. and the southeastern part of Canada, the Canadian maritime provinces, again opening the door for a potential hit. You can see this height line right here. Tend to think of the winds kind of paralleling that particular height line, and of course they blow clockwise around high pressure ridging, so that will promote the movement of any tropical system from the east or the southeast to the west or the northwest, opening the door for potential hit in a week or two along the eastern seaboard, again especially from the Carolinas down to southern Florida. So that's one of the things we'll focus in on over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Well, let's now walk through the surface forecast maps over the next several days here using the operational run of the GFS at 6Z. We have had some showers in the Mid-Atlantic region this morning that are lifting northward with a warm front. This afternoon will turn out to be a little bit warmer than what we've experienced the past few days in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and the overall humidity will also rise. You'll see dew points a little bit higher than they have been over the past couple of days. Later this afternoon there will be a chance of showers and thunderstorms. That threat will continue into tonight, and then we repeat it on Thursday and Thursday night with primarily afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. And any storm that forms over the next 48 hours in the Mid-Atlantic region can be strong to potentially severe, with some gusty winds, maybe some damaging wind gusts, and some heavy rainfall. Here is Tropical Storm Omar, again pulling away from the eastern seaboard. Let's move forward here. Notice not much showing up here into the midday and early afternoon hours, but then by the time we get into the late afternoon, early evening, notice a little kink in the isobar pattern right here. That represents a weak frontal system that enhances the chance for showers and thunderstorms late today into the early part of tonight. And again, any storm can be on the strong side, so the chance of showers and thunderstorms tends to increase later this afternoon going into the evening, and then it pushes off the coast, and we kind of have a repeat performance on Thursday with less of a chance of showers and thunderstorms early in the day, but then we have another frontal system approaching the area late tomorrow into tomorrow night. That too can be associated with some showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic region. Some of those could actually reach severe levels with damaging wind gusts along with the heavy rain. And then we get that through the area, and look at this large high pressure system over the middle part of the nation by the early part of Friday. that controls the weather in the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., really from Friday right through Monday, setting us up in this part of the nation, right in here, for a nice Labor Day weekend. And again, it looks like the nice weather really begins on Friday with sunshine and warmth, and then comfortable conditions in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, all the suburban areas along the I-95 corridor for Saturday and Sunday. Even downright cool overnight lows on Saturday night and again Sunday night. Looks like it'll hold on into the day on Monday. Here we are now, Saturday afternoon into Sunday. High pressure still in control in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the Northeast U.S. And then we start to see some changes here. But this is now Monday morning. High pressure hanging on, probably promoting another day of generally rain-free conditions in the Mid-Atlantic region. There could be some showers maybe late Monday or Monday night. But what happens at this point is much cooler air drops into the middle part of the nation, and it looks like it has little push to the east. So once that high pressure system moves off the eastern seaboard at this time, we have a broad area of low pressure setting up by the middle part of next week out over the middle of the nation, and a broad flow of air from the southwest to the northeast along the eastern seaboard. So it could become quite warm during the first half of next week in the eastern states, and there will be an increasing chance of showers as all this inclement weather associated with that strong cold frontal system slowly edge its way into the eastern states. But before we get there, a couple of days here of unsettled weather today, tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night, with occasional showers, maybe a strong to severe thunderstorm or two. Then a nice stretch of weather for a large part of the nation, from the Great Lakes to New England down to the Mid-Atlantic region on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Meanwhile, the tropics are active, but nothing imminent in terms of a threat to the U.S. mainland. We'll continue to monitor the waves near the African coastline. That one wave in particular could have an impact on the U.S. down the road. We're talking 1 to 2 weeks away. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.